I've just noticed that my BFF is trying to steal my husband, and it's making us both uncomfortable. So I've uninvited her from his surprise party just to stop her from touching my man. So my current best friend, Trina, 36 female, and I, 34 female, have been friends for almost 20 years. In 2008, I met my now husband, 35 male, and over time they became friends too. Trina is single and hasn't had much luck in relationships. There's always been drama, like cheating, baby mama issues, wanting kids but not being able to find a normal and steady relationship, etc. I've always wanted her to be happy and supported her through it all. Last year, we went on a trip together for her birthday. Just her, my husband, and me, and I started noticing some things. She would parade around the house in her bathing suit or ask me to hook her bra or bikini. In the living room where my husband was, she'd wear really short dresses. And honestly, I started feeling like she looked at him the way you would if you had a crush. She'd laugh a little too hard at his jokes, always wanted to go wherever he went, and even at the supermarket, she'd stick with him. If we split up, so many other things happened, and I told my husband. He didn't notice at first, but when he started paying attention to it, he did notice. What really got me was when my husband and I had a fight. I found out he gambled with money from our shared account and something else I'd rather not talk about. I was really upset and turned to Trina to vent. At first, she acted like she was on my side, saying, "Are you serious? He really did that?" But later, I found out she sent him a text asking if he was okay, and basically said she knows how I can be and that I overreact sometimes. That felt like a red flag, but I tried to brush it off because I didn't want to believe she'd cross any boundaries. Then on New Year's Eve, Trina usually sends me a thoughtful, Happy New Year message. But this time, I didn't hear anything from her. After midnight, I went through my messages, and around 1 a.m., I noticed she hadn't sent anything. So I decided to send her a long, heartfelt text, wishing her well and hoping all her dreams and wishes would come true. Her response: a flat thanks likewise. Meanwhile, she sent my husband a text with a Lotus for Luck image and a long message starting with my dearest. That hit a nerve. Now, next Friday is my husband's surprise party. I invited Trina weeks ago, before all this happened, but I don't want her there anymore. It's gotten to the point where I feel uncomfortable around her, and I'd rather not deal with it on a day that's supposed to be special. I'm not a confrontational person, so I haven't said anything to her yet. I just want to uninvite her, but part of me is wondering, would I be the asshole if I did that? Am I overreacting? Relevant comments. Comment 1 you don't like being confrontational. You better learn today because this chick is trying to get your husband. Response: yeah, I really shouldn't be scared to confront people who cross my boundaries, but every time I try, some old annoying trauma shows up and I get scared, embarrassed, smiley face. But you're right, it's really something I need to learn. Comment 2, to be honest, if my husband gambled with our shared money, I'd let her have him. How can you trust him? Especially when you mention that wasn't all he did. Have some respect. Response: when my husband did that, he was 19 and we were together for 1 year. We were in some crisis situations which made him think about get-rich-quick solutions. He was young and dumb. He's learned from it and we're still together after almost 17 years. I trust him wholeheartedly. Update 1, I spoke to my husband about it. He said that he already felt uncomfortable with her and removed her from social media entirely, blocking her number without me asking. Our relationship has an open phone policy, so if I wanted to, I could check his phone, but I don't feel like he's doing anything wrong. She is the one reaching out to him. He showed me a text where he told her he was not comfortable with her behavior toward the both of us. He sent it. After receiving her New Year's message and realizing she hadn't sent me anything, I asked Trina to meet with me tomorrow because I want to confront her in person and see how she responds to the accusations. I guess no matter how she responds, it's the end of a 20-year friendship. Update 2. So I had the conversation yesterday. Since I was pretty nervous about the confrontation and how it eventually went, I decided to take my time. Yesterday, as many of you predicted, she tried to gaslight me into thinking I was the problem. So I am very grateful for those of you who gave advice and warnings that this might happen. I really kept it in mind. My husband James and I also started reflecting over the past few years, and more things came up that were off, but that we just brushed off at the time. Things like how she was super involved in my husband's suit fittings for the wedding with my brother-in-law. but never had time to come dress shopping with me. Or how she organized my bachelorette party and planned activities she always wanted to do. Anyway, here's how yesterday went. We met at a coffee shop in the city she lives in. We used to live in the same city, but I moved an hour away to where my husband lives. The reason I decided to go to her city was because I thought I could leave whenever I wanted, or so I thought. I got there first. She was a bit late and came in all, "Hey girlfriend, I missed you," with a whole lot of extra energy. She gave me a bag because she had recently gone on a city trip. Inside, there was a small gift for my husband and a gift for me. She got him chocolates, and for me, she got pheromonal arousal lip gloss and some sort of lubricant in cherry and pineapple flavors. She said, and I quote, "If he's all over you, don't blame me." It felt so incredibly awkward and just, ugh. She saw the face I made and asked if I was okay, saying the gift was just a joke. We sat down and I went straight to the point. I told her how she made me feel with her behavior, the way she interacted with James, and everything that had been bugging me with those gifts. She had made things even worse. The first thing she asked was, "Did you make James block me?" I told her no, and that she had made him feel awkward too. She said she didn't believe me, accusing me of being insecure and probably demanding that he block her. She added that if I wasn't insecure, I wouldn't be scared to lose him to her. I've never been scared of that since. James has always assured me that I'm all he wants, and I believe him. I asked her what her problem was and said that, as my supposed best friend, I would have thought she'd care more about our friendship than about what my husband did. I asked her straight out if she had a crush on him, and she denied it. But she then said she thought James deserved someone who treated him better. I can guarantee that if I were such a bad wife, James wouldn't have stayed with me for almost 17 years. That man is my world. The moment she said that, I told her our friendship was over and I didn't want her near me, James, or any of my other family members. Her eyes widened and her jaw dropped, probably because I've never stood up for myself like this. She started throwing shade at me, bringing up every weak point she could about me to try and make me feel horrible. Thanks to all the advice and warnings from Reddit and James, I was prepared for this. I told her I understood why she was still single. Her mouth dropped again. I threw the gift she gave me back at her and told her she should use the ceremonial gloss to lure men since I already have mine and don't need it. She tried to jump at me, but the barista got between us. She started screaming all kinds of things at me, and the police were called. I told the barista I just wanted to leave, but he told me to wait for the police for my own safety. This girl acted like a crazy pit bull, still trying to get at me. I wasn't scared, so I just sat there and waited. When the police arrived, I told them my side of the story. They asked if I wanted to press charges, but I told them no, I just wanted to go home. They let me leave, and I started walking toward the train station. I called my husband, and he told me to wait at a certain spot because he was coming to pick me up. He was at work when I met up with her, so I had taken public transit. While I was waiting, I saw someone out of the corner of my eye. 3 guesses who it was. Of course it was Trina. She started shouting again, saying I was taking everything away from her and that James was like a brother to her and nothing more. I told her to leave me alone, but she kept going and going. This time, station security stepped in and asked if everything was okay. I told them I just wanted her to leave me alone, but they said they could only ask her to leave. Since it was a public place and she wasn't threatening me, they couldn't force her to go. James arrived about 10 to 15 minutes later. When I saw him, I just burst into tears. This girl still had the nerve to walk up to James and try to hug him. He walked right past her to me and comforted me. She then started yelling at him, saying she treated him better than I did. James asked her, "And in your crazy-ass mind, how did you treat me better than my wife?" She replied, "Gifts." He laughed out loud and told her to find Jesus, put me in the car, and drove away. She kept yelling and rambling, but he ignored her. As we drove off, I decided to tell James about the surprise party. At first, I didn't think she would spoil it, but after this, I knew she would. He was surprised, but agreed to change the location so she wouldn't be able to show up. After that, she started blowing up my phone. I blocked her, so she switched to Instagram, and I blocked her there too. I blocked her everywhere possible, but then she started using her mom's phone. I just kept blocking every number. Later that evening, another friend of mine texted me a screenshot of Trina's post. She had shared the original party invitation with all the details. adding the caption, "Feel welcome to join." One thing is for sure, this friendship is officially over, and it feels like a relief, which I think says a lot about how long I've been walking on eggshells around her. Today, I contacted the venue to change the party location and added a warning that she had shared the original details with strangers. Next Saturday, we'll celebrate my husband's birthday. And even though the surprise element is gone, there are still plenty of other surprises in store. Looking back, it all sounds like something straight out of a movie. Thank you all for your advice and support. I really appreciate it.